Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named CHAW titled How to Drain Your Dragon. And if we switch over to here, we can see this is going to be a music video on YouTube 2025. Apparently, they've just released, CHAW has just released their first EP titled Promosexual. I'm imagining this track could well be off it. We're going to listen through it from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. What do we got?
I am not the dude to screw with. At your best, you'll end up with a bruised dick. At your worst, you'll probably end up fire. Dragon breathes fire through your fortress. Tragically, he enters and turns your timbers to torches. Fire! Dragon breathes fire through your armor. Charm so cold, yo. Why is it getting warmer? Ooh, shit. One slip, kick your curtain while you're cool, Will. Trap like catching COVID on a cruise ship. Flap them tulips, but you know it's useless. Old dog needs to come up with some new tricks. Your bitches don't believe you till you prove it. Ruthlessly, they're calling it a toothpick. You can do it, put your sack into it. My nuts were dragging, so I named them Fire. Dragon breathes fire through your fortress. Tragically, he enters and turns your timbers to torture. Fire! Dragon breathes fire through your armor. Charge so cold, yo. Why is it getting warmer?
Okay, great change of feel here.
This was bound to happen, 'cause your aim is lagging and you're still not grasping how to drain your dragon. Truth is, alarm is sounding, you keep hitting snooze, bitch. I could lay the path, but would you choose it? Probably not, you'd rather take the blue pill. That's better for you, truth is often too sick. Diarrhea from your mouth is sewage. The lines you spit are often icky ruin. You built a boat but don't know how to use it. It's more about the float and about the fire. Breathe fire through your fortress. Tragically, he enters and turns your timbers to torches. Fire! Breathe fire through your armor. Charge so cold, yo. Why is it getting warmer?
Great use of all natural harmonics there.
Bound to happen, 'cause your aim is lagging and you're still not grasping to drain your dragon. This was bound to happen. Your aim is lagging and you're still not grasping to drain your dragon.
All right. Like, what else have we got going on in this? Oh, they're chasing the dragon there. Nice. So we got Fog Hammer on guitar, engineering and visual stylings, Cornbread on drums, graphic design, visual stylings, and additional engineering, Taffy Fiddle bottom, bass, keys, acoustic guitars, additional engineering and visual stylings, and then Shoots Debris McGurr, vocals, DJ, additional engineering, graphics design, lyrics, and visual stylings. Well done. I love it. I genuinely do. The video was filmed on location at McMahon Ranch in North Zolch, Texas. Executive producer Mike Haseman, producers CHAW, assistant director Susan McMahon and Brent McMahon. Location Scott, Brent McMahon. Set direction Cliff Long, key grip Sean McMahon, and best boy Dunk. Nice. There's just so many people. It's awesome. Like I'm mentioning these people because I feel like it's important. when you've got a video like this to kind of give credit to everyone involved. You know, Brent McMahon, Joshua Doy and Cliff Long on wardrobe, transportation, Mike Hasseman, Brent McMahon and Dunk, prop master Cliff Long, and then finally additional props from Joshua McDoyan, Susan McMahon, and Brent McMahon. I've also got cinematographer Susan McMahon, assistant cinematographer Brent McMahon, executive producer Joshua Doyen. Additional Brent Hesselman, Cliff Long in art direction, sound engineering Mike. So everyone's got their own sort of like bag of tricks and sort of multiple facets that they attend to. Mastering Tim Guerin of Guerin Music. Badasses. Nice. And I think everyone, including us, the viewers, is the badasses with imagery by Mike Hasselman for Fog Hammer Industries and Susan McMahon on catering. Awesome. And there you got the art there. I do really enjoy that we're also having the theme put in the background of it, just to kind of go, hey, here's the riff without the storytelling. So it's just nice to have a different interpretation of that. I'm really happy with what I've, checked out so far. We're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. And so welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named CHAW, titled How to Drain Your Dragon. I think it's off of the first EP titled Promosexual. So in this section, we're going to talk about a few of the highlights for me personally, a few of the positives and things, listening through this track, as well as any sort of applicable constructive critique. And then finally, my general sort of thoughts from a listener's perspective. But first of all, what do we think this track is about? I think it's about, there's a lot of euphemisms for penises and masturbation and stuff like that, and kind of it being bruised and women not like trusting the size of it and stuff like that, and balls and all sorts of that kind of imagery. And I feel like that's kind of a very sort of playful, fun thing to discuss in a track, especially when you're not completely blunt about it. If you can use like double entendres and stuff like that, I think it's really cool. The How to Drain Your Dragon being a play on words for that. I think that there were also some parts about building a bow, I'm not sure how to use it, verbal diarrhea, or like vomiting verbal diarrhea or something like that. I'm not sure if it was more sort of talking about our words being, like alongside our inability to do, to take care of ourselves properly. That also what we're saying is kind of not great. But yeah, I think that it's an interesting sort of unique subject matter that I don't hear a lot of in tracks, and I think it's cool that we're checking it out, just trying it out. In terms of the things that I thought worked well within this track, the first one I think is it's the vocal style. I kind of like the gritty vocal fry that we have with it. We have a bit of melody there, and we do sing some notes there behind the vocal fry, but it's got this kind of like caustic, kind of rough, gritty tone to it that I think really works well with the distorted guitars you have in the background, the breakdowns, even though there are there's moments where there's just the guitars, bass, and drums, but just the aggression there. But there's also like slight variations in expression where we're kind of almost doing a Pantera-esque sort of approach to it, where we're kind of asking questions or kind of having a bit of humor included within it. I just like the flexibility there with the approach. And we've also got some clean backing vocals to reinforce certain parts, which I think kind of ground it a little bit more. They're just a nice textural difference. And so I feel like there's enough range to this track to not only tell the story, especially across a 4-minute 5-piece, but also to keep the listener's attention. I think also part of what works is the minimalism in regard to the guitar riffs. We typically have power chord elements. We have some sort of tremolo alt-picked sort of harmonic, natural harmonics and parts, which kind of add a sort of chimey point to it. And we're very kind of heavy with the chugs. But we're also okay not having them palm muted and just kind of rolling them between the minor keys and sort of like modes respective. And there's several ways of playing in that range which we explore. And I think it's just really nice and heavy sounding. It works well for the style, the genre of it. It makes the most of the guitar tone. I think the drums also have a nice sense of rhythmic unison with it, whether they're on-beat or syncopated. It's just great to have the double kicks coming in there and sort of reinforcing those. And just also allowing sort of moments where the guitars are by themselves and then the drums either come in or they let them have their moment, or the drums have their own sort of position. I feel like it's quite a tight performance technically across the board, but it's also not overplayed in the sense that it sounds like they're recording in the same room together and they're kind of feeding off each other, if that makes sense. And I think that can just make for a more authentic performance as well. And I like that we also use some of the toms as well on some of the main beats on the kit when we're not using the crashes or kicks or snares or rides or whatever, you know. We explore the drum kit well. But how that ties into the minimalism of the guitars is that I think because of the range that we have with the drum playing, for example, the vocal takes, and again, the various uses of the palm muted power chords or natural harmonics or anything else going on there, and the various rhythms that they play, mixture of different eights, quarters, triplets, and sixteens. I don't think we necessarily needed to have any additional sort of late lead layers or anything like that. I just think it's really satisfying as it is. It's well considered and well played. And I feel like if you tried to have any sort of extra lead lines or tried to overcomplicate in that regard, it might have been cool, don't get me wrong, especially because when you're getting past that 4-minute mark, you typically need to add something a little bit extra. But when we did add different sections and different guitar riffs, and it's not like we stayed on this one sort of idea for the 4 minutes. That kind of hardcore aesthetic, it works well without the lead lines anyways, and not typically a massive part of it, unless, you know, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. It's like a thing where it's kind of 50-50. I feel like it could have worked if there were some lead lines or like more dissonant high register stuff. But also I think that, you know, sticking to the groove is also cool. And then finally, I think it's the way that it was produced, the studio recording, mixing and mastering. It's a raw, organic take that does, you know, cover its EQing and panning and things seem well leveled in the mix. There's also some moments where things are just kind of a bit kind of rough around the edges, not in a bad way, but like there's just these kind of like low bass resonance or something like that with not as much definition as I'm used to. And that sounds like a criticism, but it's not. It just kind of thuds, and you got like sub drops and stuff like that. You've got like bass response in there, not just from the bass guitar, but also the guitars aren't over processed. You get a bit of chug with them as well, and it allows more presence for the vocals in the mix as well when you don't have that many like higher lead elements. It's just I'm liking that we knew to allow for the strengths of the individual components within the mix without sort of trying to polish them. It's just nice level. The music surrounds you in the headphones. The rhythm guitars are double tracked, which I appreciate. They chug along. And there's moments of quiet as well, which I think comes equally from both a production perspective as well as a composition or songwriting one. Layering is great, and it's nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting is handled. To be fair, I have to admit here that it's not actually a 4-minute track. I just remembered there's like there was a credit sequence for like 50 seconds. So I take back that I said it was 4 minutes. That's even better. You know, they make great use of their real estate. In terms of applicable constructive critique, the closest I could get is that maybe we could have included some additional lead lines on the guitars, but it wasn't a necessary thing. I feel like it's more of a subjective thing. Sometimes as a reviewer, I can just get a bit greedy. I can be like, oh, what more could we do to add further stuff to the guitar takes or whatever? But if we're going again for a more minimalist approach, I think it's totally fine. From a general listener's perspective, I think it was, again, really fun subject matter to talk about. If they're going for Promosexual as an EP name, you can kind of imagine them discussing more stuff like this. And I just think like the cowboy aesthetic with, like if I go back here, the cowboy aesthetic with them kind of with the wolf and pig masks and stuff like that, talking about this kind of stuff and chasing the dragon, they clearly are having fun. And I don't mean that in a patronizing way. I love when I see musicians having fun with their music. It's literally art. You can do whatever you like. So I just think it's been a great experience with them because I know they don't take themselves too seriously while still putting the effort required in to make a compelling experience. I would like to listen to more of their music outside of reviews, potentially, depending on how the other subject matter of the tracks. But not that I need it to be about draining the dragon to enjoy it. It's just you hear enough tracks about like relationships and a lot of other kind of stuff, and you want something a bit different to cleanse the palate. But thank you for watching my review of this track from an act named CHAW titled How to Drain Your Dragon off of the, I assume, the Promosexual EP, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via the various social medias and the YouTube page, as well as our other social links. And stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.